is good.
Part 1. What is Tomb Sweeping Day? Hello everyone, welcome back to Mi2 English Club, the podcast where we make sharing your culture easy and fun. I'm Emily.
And I'm Paul. Hi, Emily. Hi, everyone. Today we are talking about a very special, very important holiday in Taiwan. I am a bit nervous because it is hard to talk about in English.
Don't be nervous, Paul. That is exactly why we are here. Step by step, we will learn the best words to use. So, let's start with a simple question. Paul, what are your plans for this upcoming weekend?
Well, I am going up to the mountains with my parents and uncles. We need to clean my grandpa's house, but my grandpa passed away many years ago, so it is not a real house. It is where he rests.
Ah, I see what you mean. You are going to care for his grave. In English, we have a specific name for this holiday. We call it Tomb Sweeping Day. Let's pause and look at that first word, because the pronunciation can be tricky. T-O-M-B. Notice that the letter B at the end is completely silent. You don't say tombo, and you don't say tumbe. It sounds like tomb. Paul, give it a try. Repeat after me. Tomb.
Tomb. Tombo? No, wait. Tomb.
Perfect. Now let's put it all together. Tomb Sweeping Day.
Tomb Sweeping Day. Tomb Sweeping Day. Tomb Sweeping Day. Wow, saying it 3 times really helps.
Excellent pronunciation, Paul. Now let's break down what these words mean for our listeners. A tomb is a grave, a final resting place for someone who has died. A tomb is a grave, a final resting place for someone who has died. Sweeping means cleaning with a broom, but here it means tidying up the whole area. So it is literally the day we clean the graves of our family members. But Paul, how do you usually explain this when your foreign friends ask about it?
Oh, it is so difficult. Last year, my American friend asked me about it. I didn't know the words, so I said, "We visit dead people." He looked so shocked. Then he asked if it is like Halloween. Is it scary? Do we see ghosts?
Oh dear, visiting dead people does sound a bit like a horror movie. But no, it's not scary at all, is it? It's actually a very beautiful, peaceful family tradition. If a friend asks if it's like Halloween, you can tell them, no, think of it like Thanksgiving for our ancestors.
Oh, Thanksgiving. That is a great comparison. Americans love Thanksgiving. But wait, what was that last word you used? Ancestors? How do you spell that?
It's A-N-C-E-S-T-O-R-S, ancestors. Vocabulary note. Ancestors are your family members from a long, long time ago. Think of your grandparents, your great-grandparents, and the generations before them. They are the people you inherit your family history from. Let's practice a full sentence together, Paul. This will be your go-to sentence for your friends. Repeat after me. It is a day to remember our ancestors.
Let me try. It is a day to remember our ancestors. It is a day to remember our ancestors. Hey, that sounds really natural.
It sounds wonderful, Paul. Now it's our listeners' turn. Listeners, wherever you are, at home, on the bus, or walking in the park, try to say the word ancestors out loud right now. Great job. Now you have the basic definition ready. Let's move on to the history.
Part 2. The story of the cold food. Emily, my foreign friend, also noticed something about the food on this day. He asked me, "Why do you eat cold food today?" I knew the answer. I wanted to tell him the famous historical story about the loyal man living in the forest, but my English vocabulary is too simple. I got stuck after 2 words.
Don't worry at all, Paul. You don't need to be a master storyteller to share history. When your English is at a beginner or intermediate level, you can use a strategy I call the 5-sentence story. You just need 5 short, clear sentences. But remember, a very important rule for stories. Since this happened in the past, we must use the past tense. Let's practice the 5 sentences together. I will say one and you repeat it. Focus on the verbs. Sentence 1. Long ago, a loyal man lived in the forest. Sentence 2. A king burned the forest to find him. Sentence 3. Unfortunately, the man died. Sentence 4. The king felt very sorry. Sentence 5. So today, people eat cold food to remember him.
Okay, let's do this. Long ago, a loyal man lived in the forest. A king burned the forest to find him. Unfortunately, the man died.
Let's pause right there. You did great with the past tense verbs lived, burned, and died. Notice how they all have that D or T sound at the end. But let's look at that big word in sentence 3. Unfortunately. It is a fantastic word to learn because it means bad luck or sadly. Let's break it down into syllables. Unfortunately. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Unfortunately. Ah, I got it. Unfortunately, the man died.
Perfect. Now let's finish the last 2 sentences of our story.
The king felt very sorry. So today, people ate. Wait, do I say ate or eat for the last one?
Ah, great question, Paul. For the very last sentence, since we are talking about what people still do today, we switch back to the present tense, eat. So today, people eat cold food to remember him.
Ah, I see. So today, people eat cold food to remember him. Wow, that 5-sentence story is so helpful. But Emily, what if I get super nervous and forget all 5 sentences?
If your mind goes completely blank, just summarize it in an ultra-simple sentence. You can say, the story is about a loyal man and a sad fire. That is perfect A1 English. It's short, clear, and anyone can understand it.
A loyal man and a sad fire. I can definitely remember that.
Part 3. Why do we burn paper?
Okay, now imagine we are at the cemetery up in the mountains. My foreign friend looks around and sees smoke rising from different graves. He looks very surprised, maybe a little shocked. He turns to me and asks, Paul, why are you burning fake money and what are those smelly sticks?
That is a classic question. To foreigners, burning money looks crazy. We need to explain that it isn't real currency. The traditional term in English is joss paper. Let's spell that. Joss, joss paper. If that word feels too strange or uncommon, you can use an easier alternative, gift paper or ancestor money.
Joss paper, gift paper. Okay, that makes sense. And what about those smelly, smoking sticks we hold in our hands?
Those are called incense. Let's practice the pronunciation together. Incense.
Incense. Incense. We hold the incense to talk to our ancestors, right?
Exactly. We use them as a way to show our respect and send our prayers. Now, let's build a good, clear sentence to explain the burning of joss paper. Try this one on for size. We burn joss paper to help our ancestors live well in another world.
Let me try to expand it a little bit. We burn joss paper to help our ancestors live well in another world. How was that?
Wow, Paul, look at you go. That was a long, complex sentence, and your grammar was absolutely perfect. Outstanding job.
Thank you, Emily. I'm feeling more confident. But there is another activity we do at the tomb. I had to use a special tool to cut all the long grass growing around the headstone. My hands are still tired. How do I say that?
That action is called weeding. When we clean the tomb and remove the weeds, we are showing a very important value in Taiwanese culture, respect. Let's spell that out. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, respect.
Respect. Respect. We clean the tomb to show respect to our family.
You nailed it. It shows that even though they are gone, we still care for them and love them. Part 4, the Chinese burrito, spring rolls.
Oof, after all that walking in the mountains and weeding under the sun, my family and I are always starving, and my favorite part of the day arrives, eating runbing.
Oh, I love runbing. In standard English textbooks, you will often see them translated as spring rolls. However, we should clarify a big difference for our foreign friends. Usually, when Westerners think of spring rolls, they think of small, deep-fried, crispy rolls. But the ones we eat on Tomb Sweeping Day are not fried at all. They are fresh, soft, and much bigger.
Yes, exactly. They are huge. So when my friend asked what it was, I didn't say spring roll. I said it is like a Chinese burrito.
Paul, that is an absolutely brilliant analogy. A burrito, that is perfect because a burrito uses a soft flour tortilla to wrap meat, beans, and rice. Our runbing uses a soft flour pastry to wrap delicious fillings. So tell me, what ingredients do you like to put inside your Chinese burrito?
Oh, so many things. We put in cabbage, carrots, pork, shredded egg, and my favorite, lots of peanut powder mixed with sugar.
Yum, that combination sounds incredible. But to a foreigner, putting sugar and peanut powder together with meat and vegetables might sound a bit strange. They might ask, is it a dessert? Does it taste salty? How would you describe the flavor?
It is not just salty, and it's not just sweet. It's both. We have a word for that, right? You taught me before. Savory?
Yes, brilliant memory, Paul. The word is savory. Let's spell it for our listeners. S-A-V-O-R-Y, savory. Savory describes food that is salty, rich, and flavorful rather than sweet. When you combine sugar with savory ingredients, you get a beautiful flavor profile. Let's practice this descriptive sentence. The spring roll is sweet and savory.
The spring roll is sweet and savory. It is very refreshing to eat during the warm spring weather.
Oh, refreshing. What a perfect vocabulary word for the spring season. Paul, you have done an incredible job today. You went from being nervous about visiting dead people to beautifully explaining ancestors, history, traditions, and even local food. You are 100% ready to invite your foreign friends to join you.
Yes, I feel so much better now. This weekend, I will confidently tell my friends, come eat a Chinese burrito and remember my ancestors with me.
That sounds incredibly welcoming and lovely, Paul. Listeners, remember this as you practice your English. Your vocabulary doesn't need to be flawless, and your sentences don't need to be complicated. Your sincerity and your willingness to share your culture are what matter most.
Thanks for your help, Emily. I feel much more confident now. Happy Tomb Sweeping Day, everyone.
Happy holiday, everyone. Keep practicing, stay curious, and we'll see you next time on Mi2 English Club.
Bye-bye.